Everyone is wondering the same exact thing right now, which is whether or not this is the bottom and if they should be buying the dip. And so in today's video, I'm going to do a full-on guide and breakdown of what we're seeing, what I see happening, and what my opinions are on those exact questions. So in this video, we're going to break it down definitively and simply so that by the end of this, you know exactly what you want to do. So I'm sure you've heard someone say before that stocks are for boomers. Stocks are for old people. Crypto is for the new generation because crypto actually moves. You can double your money pretty fast, and stocks, it's so boring. It barely moves, right? Everyone has heard that. And so if that is true, then I want you to keep something in mind. Just as fast as crypto can move to the upside, it can also as ferociously move to the downside. And so just as we say crypto actually moves up, while stock market makes these 7% yearly returns, well, same is inversely true to the downside. So as a stock market, specifically the NASDAQ, is down 10% from the all-time high, crypto, specifically Bitcoin, is down around 40% from the all-time high. And so this, inverse statement of stock market is for boomers and crypto is for the new generation and it moves faster, well, it's the same to the downside. And so as we see the stock market down 10%, crypto down 40%, the question you should be asking and wondering right now is, well, shit, what happens if the stock market drops 20% from the all-time highs? What the hell is going to happen to crypto then? And that is a question that not many people are asking themselves who are in crypto, whether that be because they're younger guys who don't focus on the stock and traditional markets, or maybe just because they're so focused on crypto, they don't even know what's going on outside of the crypto world. And so that's the truth, is everyone looks at this 40K level as if it's some beautiful, incredible buying opportunity without taking into consideration the traditional markets and the fact that crypto is acting as a leveraged bet, compared to the NASDAQ, right? So for example, NASDAQ down 10%, crypto's down 40%. So what happens if the stock market drops 20%? Yeah, it's not looking good for Bitcoin, right? And so everyone's so sucked into Bitcoin, right? They don't focus on the traditional markets. They don't focus on what's going on outside of Bitcoin. And they look at this as if it's a beautiful buying opportunity at 40K, right? Oh, 40K, big round psychological level. Let's buy the dip here, right? And so what you don't realize, or at least something I want to point out, is 40K was the incredible buying opportunity 4 months ago. And so if 40K is such a beautiful buying level and opportunity, why did we come back to it, right? Think about that. If this is such a good buying opportunity, why did we come back to it when we were just here 4 months ago? Think about that. And so last time we pumped out of there. This time we're not pumping out of there. And this time we came back here because most likely the price pressure is down. All right, so keep that in mind. Last time we crashed in here, it was a buying opportunity. This time we're crashing in here, it's much less likely to be that buying opportunity. And so what you know about demand zones is they do get weaker with time as less demand is usually going to be there as orders get filled. Right, so everyone who wanted to buy at 40K here, they already bought at 40K and now it's back here. Right, so they're like, well, I already bought at 40K, so what am I going to do? Buy again at 40K? Right, so that's why demand zones gets weaker, with time. And so we used it as support here. We used it as support here. Both times we pumped out of there quickly. Okay, this time we're not pumping out of there quickly. And so that just shows you how the demand zone is getting weaker with time. Look at this, right? Here's the demand zone. Look how high you pump. Here's the demand zone. Look how high you pump. Here's the demand zone. You're not pumping so much out of there. And so this is clear signal to you that the 40K area is getting weaker with time. And if this was such an incredible buying opportunity, then why did we come back down here when we were just here 4 months ago, right? And so we take this a step further by analyzing the volume. You don't see any crazy buyers stepping in at this level, although it is an increase to what we saw just a couple weeks ago over here, but it's not overwhelming and it's not anything crazy, that's for sure. So keep that in mind. Now, when we look at all the resistance points and levels overhead, you see multiple that I'm going to point out right here, right now, which is obviously the most clear one from the all-time high at 69K, if you draw that down, that's a major resistance point. From the previous all-time high at 65K, you can see it comes down here, drops, comes down here, and we rejected just perfectly off of this resistance level as well. We're now down 3% off of that rejection on that resistance level. And obviously you can see we did use it as support earlier here, which looked like it was going to be a local bottom, but we obviously know what happened. We came right back lower after that. And so you don't see strong volume and strong buyers really coming in. You see clear rejections off resistance. You see a clear downtrend that you are still below. And many people are trying to convince you that this is the buying opportunity of a lifetime. But at the end of the day, kind of like I told you before, if this was such an incredible buying opportunity, why did the market let it come down to this again? Okay, right? Think about it. If it's a beautiful buying opportunity, why would you come right back down to it? We were just here 4 months ago. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, we have a very, very bearish price target to point out in this video. And this is about where people start disliking the video and dropping comments saying, you're crazy. And that's exactly what I would love to see, because to me, that's a further confidence booster that this actually has a real possibility of happening, which is our price target down to 16,000 in Bitcoin, which, there we go. Like I said, people are starting to dislike the video and start screaming and jumping out of the chair saying, what the fuck? This guy is out of his mind. Did he just say 16K Bitcoin? But that is absolutely a possibility, because this would be about an 80% drop from the all-time high. And, well, let's see that for ourselves. So here's the all-time high. Down to that price target, guys, that's a 76% drop. Well, remember what we talked about earlier. The stock market's down 10% and crypto's down 40%. What happens if the stock market drops 20%? Wouldn't it be fair and logical to assume that crypto could, at that scenario, and in that case, be down 76, 80%? Now, a lot of people will reject me right there and say, but Alex, we're definitely gonna hold at 30K if we get there. But let's do a quick little analysis and comparison. Right here, when Bitcoin crashed, this was during the time that the stock market was still going up and making all-time highs. For example, this is from April to July. And what was the stock market doing from April to July? It was actually still very much so in a bull market, right? Look at this. From April to July, you're going to see what was happening here. April to July, right? Look at this. April to July. Look, see, stock market was doing beautiful things when Bitcoin was crashing. Well, what happens this time if we're crashing at the same time, right? So last Bitcoin crash, you caught a break because the stock market was still doing completely fine. But imagine this time they're crashing together. That is what's going to be able to break below 30K, in my opinion, is this overall bearish markets together, not just Bitcoin crashing. And so that is what a lot of people don't realize, is last Bitcoin crash, you caught a break because economic conditions were still favorable. S&P was making all-time highs during this time. All right, this time, if they're moving down together, it's going to be very, very hard for Bitcoin to hold this 30K level, in my opinion. So that's exactly how 16K is a real possibility, and one that people are not prepared for. And that's my job on this channel, is to try to prepare you for unimaginable things that don't seem possible. They seem crazy and unreal, but they absolutely can happen. And the biggest money in crypto is about being ready for those 1% of cases that 99% of people aren't ready for. That's where you really get rich. That's where you make the biggest money, is by being able to capitalize when nobody else is able to. And that is exactly where we could be heading. And if you're not ready, it could be a very, 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 very painful year for you. Now, I know this sounds extremely doom and gloom, extremely pessimistic, and I just want you to know that, part of it, I do want to scare you so you can think about the consequences of your action if you bought the dip today, right? You need to formulate a plan that you are comfortable with so that no matter the outcome, you can live with the result. And one thing I want to say is, as bearish as I have painted this picture and scenario to be, there are bullish scenarios here, absolutely, right? And the bullish scenario that you see here is simply breaking above these major resistance points, right? 1 resistance, 2 resistance, 3 resistance. Should we break above those 3 resistance points, you should honestly, in my opinion, forget what I've said here in the short term, and you should be bullish, or at least that's what I will be, right? But for now, the path of least resistance is down, and it is in a downtrend. That is a fact, that is unarguable, and that is the truth. So right here, you got a simple downtrend. You're under all major resistance. But once and if you can break those major points of resistance, it's like taking the chains off your back. You are then again free and able to actually move higher with the path of least resistance not being down, but actually being able to then relief and bounce from that point. So I think that in the short term, if we can break these 3 major points of resistance, right? This resistance level, this resistance level, and this resistance level, I think we will see a bounce here. It's going to get a lot of people extremely, extremely bullish, but I do believe that we will come back down to this 40K level. And should we come back down to 40K again, I guarantee you it will not hold. Because what do you know about these demand zones, as I've told you before, is they do get weaker with time. And so I'll give you a great example here, right? So this demand zone was resistance before here. It was resistance right here. It was resistance right here, right? And it was resistance right here, right? So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th time, it was no longer resistance. This became support, and we blasted higher and through it. A great example of how a zone doesn't always stay resistance, and it doesn't always say demand either, because now what do we see? We've seen it be used as demand once, twice, 3 times, and this is the 4th time. Should it come down to this demand zone a 5th time, I will put my money that it will not hold, and it will absolutely break lower later, if not now, below this 40K area of support. So that is what I'm looking at. Should we get a relief bounce and rally past this? Should the chains break free and get off of our backs here in Bitcoin? Then I expect relief. I expect bullish price action in the short term, but overall and likely coming back down to here and breaking below this 40K region once and for all, and really putting the nail in the coffin at that point. So that is what I'm looking at here. I think people are ruling out the possibility of a 16K Bitcoin. If you say that right now, people will probably tell you you're crazy, you're out of your mind, and you will not be a very liked guy for saying that. But at the end of the day, it's not about being liked. It's about protecting yourself, being ready, and making money, and capitalizing when others are drowning, okay? Be the lifeguard, not the guy who's drowning. All right, and so that is my plan for 2022. I am playing very protective, and you got to realize, do you have life-changing money right now? Can you leave the market happy with what you got right now without being greedy, without hoping for more? Can you leave today a happy man? And if you can, that is something to consider, because this could be ugly. And like I said, it sounds really, really bearish. It sounds really, really ugly. The truth is, literally next week, we could be breaking this resistance, and we could be absolutely shooting for the stars and back at 52, 54K, right? And so you got to keep in mind, there's 2 sides to the story, but at the end of the day, as long as we're below these resistance levels, there is nothing bullish about this, despite what many people are going to try to lead you to believe with their stories, their incredible speeches, their inspirational, motivational videos. The truth is, the charts don't lie. The charts tell you the truth. There is nothing bullish about this until and unless we can at least break above these major points of resistance. So based on the head and shoulders, you have a price target of 16,000, and that is what we're looking out for here as of now. But like I said, right, overall, the chart looks very bearish, but in the short term, it can get very, very bullish. So do be ready for this, and do be watching out if Bitcoin breaks above these three major points of resistance. That being said, it all comes down to the stock market as well. If the NASDAQ drops 20%, then obviously we're going to see a lot more downside in Bitcoin. And so what I want to point out here in the NASDAQ is this M-top formation, which you may be wondering, Alex, what is an M-top? Well, it's actually really simple. So as the NASDAQ continues to try and make all-time highs, every single time the tops and the highs are met at the same level in the oscillator, right? So you can see it's kind of like an M, kind of like a W, all right? But basically look at this, right? So here's the first top, look at the RSI. Look at the second top, look at the RSI. Look at the third top, look at the RSI. Look at the fourth top, look at the RSI. So you can see as the NASDAQ continues to try and make new all-time highs, you can see the RSI, aka the oscillators, get shut down at the same level, indicating to you a top in this uptrend that we've been seeing go on for quite a bit of time. And so I believe this is the top of the uptrend in the NASDAQ, and we are seeing a trend reversal here. And so, like I said, right, this uptrend has been lasting quite a while. And now, look at this. You have the high, right, the all-time high, followed by the first lower low in the trend since God knows when, right? You haven't seen a lower high since ever in this uptrend, since the crash, since the COVID lows, right? So look at this uptrend, right? You haven't seen lower lows. It's only been higher highs, higher highs, higher highs in this uptrend. And now I think we set an official momentum loss, slowdown, M-top formation where the oscillators are shut down every single time at this level as the NASDAQ tries to make all-time highs. And that's why I see this uptrend being at its end. And this is why I see a foreseeable trend reversal here in the NASDAQ as it's really just beginning. And as it's only down 10%, Bitcoin's already down 40%. Should this correlation and leverage bet between crypto and NASDAQ persist, then I believe that this is not the end of this crash. Although the market does not move down in a straight line. There will be bounces. There will be relief rallies. But I believe the direction at this point is clear, if it wasn't clear enough already. And this is further, the traditional markets further add to the overall sentiment and bearishness in the crypto markets, in my opinion. So remember, as bearish as it may look, as bearish as it may get, in the short term, should we get above these three major resistance points, I am short-term bullish on crypto. Keep that in mind. So guys, that is your update. That is your analysis on Bitcoin. I would remain bearish until you can at least break these three major points of resistance. Anyone who tells you otherwise, who knows what they're up to, but I know what I'm up to and I know what I'm looking out for. So guys, keep that in mind. If crypto is down 40% while the NASDAQ is down 10%, think as to what crypto could be down if the NASDAQ drops 20%, which a 20% drop in the NASDAQ is not out of the question whatsoever. So guys, if you enjoyed this deep breakdown and analysis of crypto and the NASDAQ, make sure you drop a like on this video. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.